Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of The Rejects. We are today facing an entirely new threat, and I'm really wondering if we are going to survive. There are 3 BARBSLINGERs that have decided to migrate on top of my potato acres, which is truly outrageous because, that's the food that we require to survive, and we are already down to 3 days worth of food. The entire situation here is rather well, tense, to put it into friendly words, and therefore, well, it's going to be an exciting adventure for our rejects today. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to lay power grids inside the base, because, I want to have some electrical lighting in these rooms and probably get some beautification up. Luckily, we have already acquired power, so things are not as bleak as they could be, but I really gotta be careful with these suckers here. Problem about BARBSLINGERs is very easy and simple. They are predators, and they're going to hunt whatever is on the map. Right now, there's luckily smaller game than me on the map, in form of our rat Jane, and in form of a iguana and an ostrich. So they should be aiming for something else first, but emphasis lies on they should. I don't know, this guy here could also be already meandering towards Mike, and or they could be just be out for a bite of Kalayan. You never know with these guys, but this is actually the situation that I was hoping for, because if I attack them openly, they will go into herd revenge. This way, we will be able to isolate one of these suckers at a time, which is really a lot better than the other way around. So BARBSLINGERs, they are hybrids in terms of combat abilities. They have a ranged attack, a nice sprite by now, and they have a melee attack. Funnily enough, their ranged attack is much less dangerous than their melee attack. So their projectiles have only a damage of 5, albeit poisonous, and their melee has a whopping amount of 19 damage, which is enough to sever limbs if you get struck by that several times. So we are not aiming for any melee encounter with this thing. Instead, we are going to get our marksman on top of that thing. And it's really important that you note one thing. If it's if the creature is out for hunting somebody, your dudes, they won't fire automatically. Look at Mike. He's still not taking aim. This sucks, doesn't it? But it is as it is. So we are going to try our best to... Jeez, that's a weird one. Okay, these things, they usually go really quick into revenge, but not this guy. Alright, finally he's in revenge. So we got our shooters here in position, and as you notice here, this thing is not taking too much damage because it's kittenous, or, well, now we got a situation like that. It's the best I can do. I'm not going to send in Walter to actually attack that thing, because the moment this BARBSLINGER decides to go melee on us, it's much more dangerous. Here we only have a couple of not so dangerous wounds, but I think I have to patch up something here. Oh yeah, they're not patienting themselves now properly. Okay, so after changing that, I draft and undraft them, and let's see what has changed. She wants to play horseshoes, he wants to go resting. Okay, so I'm not really down to her decision, considering that she's going to die quite soonish. So we're going to tend Kalayan here on the spot with Walter. He's somewhat of a medical aficionado, so both get what they want. Kalayan can have some hoops, some playing, and we can patch her up. Mike's wounds aren't lethal at all. He's just bleeding a tiny bit, but here, this will kill her off after a while, so I really want to change something about that. Okay, so BARBSLINGER number 1 is dead, and we didn't take too much of a hit here. I mean, it is not good. We have taken damage. People are wounded now after all, but it's also, I think it's quite okay. I'm going to tend without medicine here, because I really don't want to use precious medical packs for a situation like that. No. They're going to get needed if we have any infections or stuff like that going on. Okay, so everybody's patched up. And we'll keep a close eye on these guys. So, I mean, on the plus side, we've gathered some disgusting meat. All right, Walter, do your thing. What's your it? Okay, so far so good. Kalean is cutting some stones. I am not really seconding this, but well, I'm going to let her be now for a moment until she's at least done with that one chunk here, because you would lose the progress, you know. Game doesn't save the progress on these chunks. So when she's done, we are going to assign her to what exactly? Yeah, to that construction job here. She has construction 10. She might be insomniac, but she's still going to get the job done. I want to have electrical lighting in all the bedrooms ASAP, simply because that reduces the chance of sloppy medical results by a lot. And that's exactly what we need right now. I'm at the same time very, very careful towards these creatures. They really unnerve me, and, well, the only good thing that came from them is that our food clock is now back on 4 days, because they are actually quite chunky and meaty. As, yeah, let's not deepen that topic. So, what's that thing? That's major break risk. Okay. And the BARBSLINGER is hunting Walter. So as you see, these things, they are quite ferocious, but we've learned from the last encounter, and instead of making the situation go like I did the last time, we are going to get our shooters behind cover, because that's going to mitigate a lot of the impact there. And it's actually right now the best possible scenario, because Walter is actually the only person here without a gun, so he's going to be exactly where I want him to be, in the role of the kiting person. So we're going to assign our shooters to take aim, and Walter is going to run, but he's also please going to run as close to that thing as possible. Alright, so we are now in Revenge. That happened now as quick as I expected it to. And now this thing is not going to be interested in Walter whatsoever. But as you see, now our shooters are behind boulders and we are on a much better position. But still, Mike's getting a lot of hits in. But at the same time, nothing too terrible happened here. We're going to tend Mike right away. Kalean has only old wounds. Alrighty, that went well. That went really well. So, no. You're not going to escape Dr. Walter here. Okay, hold still. Okay, so we got that. Let's just hope that the third of these suckers is going to give us a break. I mean, the good news is we now have access to enough food to get us through the situation for now. That's okay, too. So, let's make sure that Mike's getting his treatments. But first, I want to finish that wall light here. Come on, Kalean. You can do it! Alrighty, we got electrical light now, and now we can do the treatment completely, because, you know, it is just better like that. Also, I want to assign us down to more sane standards. Also, we're not going to run if there's anything. Oh, gosh. Just in the very last moment. Stop them from doing something dumb. We're not needing medicine here, you dumb nose. Alright, Walter needs a break, though. That's one thing, that's for sure. Beating fire out. Yeah, thanks, Randy. Oh, boy. That's a really crappy situation to be in. Oh, boy. The dry thunderstorms wrecking our potato harvest, but luckily, only a part of it. Only a part of it. It switched on over into rainy thunderstorm quickly enough for us to retrieve the last. But I'm not going to sow anymore here, because I have the slight feeling that we already have more than enough potatoes, and I'm going to call in an early harvest here, because, you know, I just realized I don't want to be using my medical packs like that every time. So instead we're going to use these for heal root now. And the good part is, since we're now changing them, they will get harvested immediately. Because, you know, when you change a planting designation, they're going to head on out there and do this. Okay, nice. So there's only one more BARBSLINGER left. And I think, well, I'm actually considering to go into offense here instead of playing it defensively, but the creature's already taking that decision off of me. Already. Perfect. So, now, BARBSLINGER is engaging from the south, so we're going to make a run for it. And it's really not the kind of weather where I like to take that kind of engagement, you know? So we're going to go over to this area. The thing about the weather is quite simple. Rainy weather does make shooting a lot harder, so our hit percentages will be a lot worse than while there's bright, clear weather. So, thing went into revenge, and our shooters are standing pretty decently. I bet that this is, well, can we check this? Not really, eh? Well, yeah, standing behind boulders is always a good thing to do. We got it! We have achieved victory against the BARBSLINGER infestation. That's good. We have now... well, how to put it? I don't need to worry about myself anymore. Whoa! Rude. I know that I don't need to worry about this either too much, because there's just way more potato out there than I can possibly eat. So we can feed that hungry ostrich and the iguana as well, you know. That's okay. Those rejects, they are, after all, charitable people, so now. Okay, with that problem being out of the way, we can finally continue building in the stop surviving. Okay, Mike, you bring those potatoes back home, because I don't like to have food lying around when there's such a clear sign that the wildlife here likes potatoes too. There we go. Okay, so far so good. The other structures here weren't built yet, and we probably should make some, well, some roof around these things. I just wanted to say, but now I realize that I really don't have enough stone to work with, so one thing at a time, one thing at a time. So far, I'm proud with our bunch of survivors that none of them died to the BARBSLINGERs. There were no bigger accidents, no bigger wounds, no infection. So all in all, this this went down as good as it could, you know. The only thing I'm really bothered with is this stupid ostrich there eating my potatoes like that. Okay, guys, you know what? I really despise thieves. And you are a thief. Badlands or not Badlands, these are my potatoes. Got it, ostrich? My potatoes, not your potatoes. Alrighty, so here we're going to use the standard kiting procedure. I'm going to try and keep Walter as the main target of the ostrich. There we go. Got to keep the person close enough to the beast. Yeah, just like I thought. That guy went down a little bit fast. He's also malnutritioned. Interesting. So that's why he's eating that many potatoes, because he was already hungry for a while. So we're going to put the local wildlife out of its misery, because, you know, I can use the leather. Don't dare to flee on me. I think we can leave Walter here too. So come on, Walter, you got melee skills, don't you? Yeah, somewhat. I was already afraid that he'd be getting bitten by that thing. That would have been a very fun thing, you know? They go through the bobslingers and whatnot with ease, but then down comes a iguana. No, that was not how the story ended. Perfect. So let's change Kaleon's schedule a little bit up. I want her to have construction as the most important thing, because she might be slow, but Mike is constantly busy doing other things like chopping out steel for us. And I really have so many construction jobs that I want to get done that I want her to stop researching, I said. Leon, please. Oh well. She seems to be hell-bent on discovering how solar power works, but, well, that ain't the worst thing, isn't it? Thing is, Mike will be busy with other things very, very soon, and that's plant stuff, you know? Plant stuff will be so important very soon, so therefore Mike won't have too much time for construction things. Whereas Kalean, she has all the time. She's just very, very slow while doing her work, but whatever. And there's Jane, skittering around. In case you didn't know already, the rat is a venerated animal for the rejects, as is the raccoon, because they are just as unpopular as the rejects are. Yeah, that was the thought behind them. Okay, so food stockpile-wise, I think we are right now stacked out in a magnificent way. Obese poor survivors. So we are a charitable tenant, so they oh, I see. We okay, sure thing. So that's one thing that I like about this playthrough already, idea-wise, to have a shelter for all the rejected people. I love this already. All right, we're going to stay with that. This is the first thing that happened while gameplay that feels so darn good to say that refugees are always welcome at the last round, because, you know, basically I like the idea that these dudes here, they are the worst. They know they are the worst, but they don't treat everybody like the worst, you know? I like the idea of that. This starts to make sense and starts to turn into a philosophy. Young traveler seeks charity, but it seems like it makes word goes around. So, Boo wants 2 medicine. Yeah, sure, Boo. Come on. Who could say no to somebody who's named after a giant space hamster, after all? I certainly can't. So, clan or wise leader give medicine to Boo. This day came. I mean, he even looks like a tiny space hamster. He's a big skin. Alright. Maybe not a space hamster. There we go. We gained development points out of that, which is amazing. I like this. I really, really like this. So, life at the last round is getting better. We have now Orbish, who's a absolutely fantastic crack with animals. He would be actually quite a good fit for us. Psychopathic, well, okay. Psychopathy is actually not a bad trait, but I think it counts as a bad trait. And refined palate is also not good. He's eating slower by that. He's a snob. Orbish, you are just made for this place. Alright. Not so much about this overachiever Cornish, though. Anyways, so this is a pretty good scenario for us to get a little bit deeper into the story of the rejects. Because, you know, RimWorld is for me always about one thing, storytelling. So we do require more of those sandstone blocks. Luckily, Kalean is already on the job. And Mike, yeah, there's as you see there's insanely much harvest to be hauled in, and I can already foresee that our tiny little storage here won't make it here. So we got to think about some solution there. There's 2 possible solutions. We could either go for a larger freezer, or we could put in storage furniture that we have modded into this run, because I personally am a sucker for storage furniture. And, well, the vanilla game has brought us some by now, but I love LWM's deep storage mods because they're just that amazing. They are quite balanced because these furniture pieces, they are all quite costly at the same time. But I think, judging from what I see, we got so much more stuff to handle right now. It might be actually a wise addition. I don't know yet. We'll see about that in a hot minute. What we do see is that the food clock is finally going up, which is a really, really good thing. So our guests are going to go and craft all day. I want them to cut those stones for us because that's just the work that we need to get done. So Orbish is extremely passionate about plant work, so I'm going to give him the permission to do the plant work first. Because, you know, the harvest is important after all. Okay. So, life in the Badlands has already one big problem. We have no easy access to building materials that are fast builders, you know? Walls are slow builder. Stone is a slow builder. And stone is the majority of the material that we have available here. I don't want to build too much with steel, because I don't want to get too acquainted with that, because steel is a valuable resource after all, you know? Building my beds out of steel is already quite snobby in my personal understanding. So, Mike, I need somebody on the mining duty. Since Orbish is now here, which comes in just at the right time, we can just let Mike do the mining for now, which is also fairly important. Is this an emu? Yeah, there's an emu around the corner. They're also ferocious and hungry for potatoes, as it seems. Everybody loves to reject potatoes. Understandably. I think it's the best stuff you can get around here. But at the same time, we are seeing really the end of the freezer, let's put it like that. So I think we can safely go for fine meals here as well. And I want to slap down baby food, simple meal designators, because, you know, it is about time that we get rid of those smaller batches and just cooking larger batches. I don't like that. Okay, so finally we're getting that steel together that we need. Hopefully this will lead to the completion of those beds. I wasn't expecting new people here in the colony so quickly, honestly, because I thought that with the whole Rejects project, we would not see any good fits into the colony so quickly. But due to the charity tenet here, I really like this, the fact that we got the guilty meme, because the charity thing makes it so that we might be not willing to take many people permanently here because they're not bad enough for us. I like that. And Walter, why are you creation starved? But with all those charity things that I need to pick up, I am practically permanently forced to have a larger population than I'd actually have. And that is, quite frankly said, awesome. I like it. Alright, we can undesignate those sleeping spots. You guys have now real beds. You're welcome. And here's a lot of food lying around. I disagree. Nature running, yeah, alright. We shouldn't bring children to too much work. Mike is chilling, which is also quite important. Ah, well, whatever. Let's give them a night off. We've had death and suffering a couple of nights ago, so we might take a break. Yeah, good one, Randy. So, the arrow muggers are attacking us with Cohen, the recruiter. Well, you would be actually a good fit to us. Tao Kai. Wait a sec. That is a new one that I don't know of. This must come from one of my mods. Cool. So, what's a Tao Kai? Do we have a description for that? Constantly morphing, cancerous afflicted people. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I think I didn't want to know it that exact, that detail. Alright, let's shoot down that clown. Don't come with a club to a gunfight, my friend. Alright, Cohen. Let's slow down and do the same procedure as usual. Walter's standing ready as a kite. And meantime, you know, that's why I love the crash landed start so much, because you have really so much fighting power right from the get-go. It ain't much of a big deal to hold back enemies like this, as you saw. Practically everything melee is trivial with the crash landed start. But it's okay, those guys have enough problems on their own. With themselves and all. Alright, turns out the local wildlife is nabbing my potatoes. I'm not sure what to think about that. Also, we need to do something about our current situation. So, I happen to have 140 slate blocks. Perfect. So, it's time to start storage furniture. So, food baskets. They allow us to compact 10 stacks of food on one square. The downside is they are just long. An effing long build, okay? Let's put it down like that. So, to make things a little bit less nasty here, let's put a wall light into the freezer, and then we're going to work on that basket. Because, you know, in light, your people just work faster. In the light of day, your people just work faster. Which brings me to the point that we might want to have a light here as well. So, the next point on my list is to get that table here somehow inside. But first, I want to have some power grid running there as well, so a wall light will pay off here too. There we go. Because work tables that are standing outside are just less efficient. I want to change something about that. Especially since we are chopping down so many rocks over the course of the time. I find it extremely important that we do this. So the first food basket is ready. So we're going to order the storage of potatoes in there. Let's see, do I have enough slate blocks? Yes, I do. So we're going to assign just the next to them. Because it... Whoa, Randy. Okay, so we're getting attacked twice in a row by Jet the Mechanic. So, well, this falls under a very similar niche like the other stuff. We're going to assign some hauling jobs while the cavalry is handling the attack, which shouldn't be too much of a big deal, so... Alrighty. This guy is faster in my face than I thought, but maybe it's a girl under all this, under all the Wookiee optics. Who knows? We're putting Walter right next to that. Look at that. Never fails. There we go. So I'm leaving the club on the ground because I'm not a big fan of Neolithic weaponry, and we really got to haul that stuff there. So, all right. Seems like this place here is being raided more than is probably logical. Because, you know, what the hell are you guys trying to rob here? We are living in the Badlands. It seems as if the land itself doesn't want us to live here, but we won't give up. So, my good friends, I'd say this is a pretty good ending point for today's episode. We've made brilliant progress. I'm leaving this growing zone unactivated for now, because it's pretty clear that we have more than enough food in our stockpiles, and since we're going to hunt wildlife constantly, practically I do plan to hunt whatever is entering our biome rather sooner than later, we are going to have really enough food for the time being. So we are going to link these guys here because that's just fun. So they are now a linked entity. So more potatoes will land in here. And yeah, feel free to leave me your comments down below. It's a wonderful start into a new adventure. I'm going to properly set up a base soon as well, you know, with walls and all. And we'll see how that'll end for us. It ends with a nice aurora, and feel free to leave a thumbs up. This series desperately needs thumbs up because, you know, it needs to be seen to be enjoyed. So feel free to help me out there, and also consider subscribing to help out this channel. This is massively helping. Either way, Playlist link to the entirety of the series is in the description box if you want to start at episode 1. Knock yourself out. All the mods that I used are also united in a mod pack Steam collection thing. Link is also down there. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.